Good position. Sam Dashfield next, Stan Creel and Callum Pratt out of 5 and 6. 21 cars on the grid. It's a ripper field down to Paige Macy rounding out the field. Really well presented, great looking grid of cars, and they will launch off for their first race. 10 laps, the scheduled duration. The 92 is Mac Templeton. Rex Edwards is the 16 on the inside, so he's got that run into turn 1. And then the battle behind. Stu Lawton, watch out for him. Second in the championship at the moment, in a really good place after round 1. As we launch into the NEXEN Tyre NZ Mazda Racing Series at Taupō for NEXEN New Zealand. 10 laps, the scheduled distance, and Rex Edwards with a great start. Backs the car into turn 1, gets a car length or 2. Templeton and Dashfield, it is, battling it out over second and third. They're going to squeeze their way through turn 2 and 3. These sweepers, there's some elevation change, and then the braking zone into 4, slightly off camber, and then down the hill, the dive down into turn 5. Clean start, everyone away.
That's a great start by Rex Edwards. Look at the gap he's got already. He's got a good 4-5 car length gap, just like that, straight off the start, as Mac Templeton is already using his mirrors a little bit with Sam Dashfield in behind him there. So they are underway.
Love that corner. I love the corners. They've got some serious camber on it, so get on the throttle early and fire out, but then there's some that are almost negative camber in a way, so it tries to fire the car to the outside of the road. That's one of them, the run up towards the hairpin at turn 9, and then turn 10 and then 11, the big stop up here, a great overtaking opportunity. So this is Stu Lawton. That's the yellow car with the black stripes on it. He's running 4th at the moment. The battle is on in front. Stan Creel, I think it is, has got some ground in the 22. Rex Edwards, the leader, as they run down the long back straight, and the rope trees get wound up, as you can hear, to all of their many RPMs.
Yes, now with a little bit of a look onto the back straight there, but you've got to make sure if you do that, you still get the run off the exit, because now he's got to use his mirrors just a little bit as they come around the last complex to complete the first lap of the race. Oh, one a little bit wide there.
Easy.
It's quite hard through there, because the way you make it down into turn 11, 12 and 13 down and through there, you've got to change direction so fast through there. And if you don't get it right, as you change direction, the rear of the car can come around very quickly, as it still all go between these two. That's Stephen Brown having a little look up the inside.
Elton Wichman was under pressure there at turn 1, but it shut the door. It was ajar, but Brown wasn't able to get up the inside. So that was a battle for 12th and 13th position. Lance Gerlach just in front of those. Rex Edwards the leader, 1 minute 46.2 standing lap time. These things are not slow.
They are impressive for what they are, for what they do to them to get them underway and to be able to join the series. That's one of the attractive things about this series, is you don't have to spend tens of thousands, huge money to get them into a race car. They just keep it nice and simple, keep them relaxed. Turn 1, he's one of the guys that is right behind this championship to help build it up to what it is now.
So Arthur Broham leads the points after round 1, but not running this weekend because he's going into the GR86s. So Stu Lawton leading the championship. Rex Edwards, well, technically leading. He's second on points. He'll get the lead this weekend. Rex Edwards next. So he's in a really good position at the moment to take advantage. We've got one off up at the hairpin running wide. And Lance Gerlach 4th in points, but only 11th in the race at the moment. And that was Stephen Spear off the road up at turn 10 and 11.
Don't want to put the curse on it, but it's all pretty calm at this stage.
Oh, no.
This point in the race. Mazdas, normally we see so much action within the first lap. It is usually all go, but I feel like it's early in the championship. Everyone's just building into it. It'll unfold at some point.
I'm concerned that you've gone that early with the, it's all pretty sedate line. You've worked with Greg Russ long enough to know that the mocker will be thrown very soon. Stan Creel just had a little moment going into turn 1. The car was sliding around, so they're right on the ragged edge on these NEXEN tyres. Callum Pratt doing the same there through that great change of direction at turn 4 and 5.
That's such a cool corner up over turn 4. You just got to quickly change direction. It's slightly blind as you go up over there as well, so it just makes it a really cool corner.
Yeah, the funny thing about this place, when I came here for the Repco Supercars Championship at the start of the year, on paper and indeed in pictures, you look at it and you go, there's no elevation change, but in real life, there actually is. There's a great flow to this racetrack. As we watch a replay of Callum Pratt just have that little slide. Speaking of the elevation, it was as the car gets light, little over the hump there is.
So that's exactly what you're talking about. Because of that elevation change up over there, it's actually hard for Callum to see where that apex is when you're behind a car like that. So that's when he would have just turned in that little bit later, not being able to see much of the inside of the track, and that's what pushes you wide towards the outside with a bit of a drift on. But he looked well under control with that.
He's got great character at this place, lots of different driving challenges. Stuart Lawton in the 46 was having a really big go at Creel up at the top of the circuit, so he's got good pace. Flames from the back of the yellow RX-8 in the braking zone into turn 12, the left-hander, the start of that final complex. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. This is what Andrew Waite was looking for. Mac Templeton putting the pressure on Edwards for the race lead. 3 tenths between them, but Templeton was quickest last time by about half a second. At 1:42.8 for the number 92 car, who's the quickest driver on the racetrack last time by. Okay, so you're Mac Templeton. Where are you setting up for a move? Is it up at turn 11? Is that the best place?
That's a great spot to see yourself up to, into turn 11. It's probably one of the best passing opportunities on this track down into there. It's I think at this point in the race, it's still early enough. He's got Andy Neal, who's a very, very experienced driver from past. He's done a lot of engineering as well. He's on the radio to Max, so he will be helping guide him through this, but I don't think he needs to rush at this point, because he's obviously got the pace compared to him, and he's just starting to get a little bit further back again, maybe starting to look in the mirrors again at Sam behind him, but he definitely does seem to have a really good run off turn 11 here, so maybe for him the passing opportunity is down into the last section of corners.
Here's Stu Lawton, so he's actually got that spot over the 22 car now, so that's a change of position for 4th and 5th place. So the guy 2nd in the championship moves up a spot. The guy 3rd in the championship is leading the race, but he's under some pressure from Mac Templeton. He just shows the nose down there at turn 1. He wasn't on for a move, but perhaps he's trying to get in the mirror a little bit to put the leader off. Yeah,
it's a good little intimidation. If you know you're not going to make the move, you're not going to lose any time by just putting your car in the mirror of the car in front of you, and that just sort of helps them look in their mirrors a little bit more, and you just poke your nose here and there. But Mac Templeton, as I said, he's definitely quite quick through this last section of corners, but he does seem to not have quite the run out of turn 7 a bit later in the lap. But Sam Dashfield just hanging in the back there as well, just letting things come to him. So once again, we make their way through turn 3, up over turn 4. Is he going to be any sideways action? Mac Templeton a little bit sideways up over the top here, and you've got this awkward little braking zone down into the next corner here before we make our way into turn 7. So even turn 7 is another area where the braking is quite difficult, because as you can see there with Rex, he's got to actually turn to the right, but then you need to brake at the same time. It's certainly a real driver's track, this place. It's quite hard to piece it all together and be consistent around here, but that's what makes it so good.
There were a couple of corners when we rocked up for the supercars, you go, oh, no, they're not going to overtake there. And they were side by side. So it offers many surprises, this place as well, in putting on quality motor racing. So these are the leaders. 6 to go in race 1 for NEXEN Tyre. Mazda, that was close. Covering off his line early, and Templeton's going to get down the inside here. Really awkward exchange. He's using all the inside of the road.
And more.
And he's going to get the race lead. Or is he? Because they'll drag race the wrong way up the drag strip here at Taupō. They're heading towards the start line where they do straight line racing. And this is the wheel-to-wheel Mazda racing we've been looking forward to all weekend. Sam Dashfield in 3rd place could be the big winner out of all of this if it tees on even more. And now they finally go single file. So that all started up in the braking zone between turn 10 and 11. And the leader moving around a little bit almost opened the door for the guy behind to come through.
Yeah, and that's where Mac there was actually committed. That's why he sort of saw him go to the grass on the inside. I don't think he had that plan, but he was so committed on the brakes. As we have another look at the replay, so you can see here, just as they start braking, see how late Mac is. He's starting to close in. He had no choice but to duck inwards, and he's gone, all right, well, I'm actually in the gap here. I might as well give this a go and make the move. It certainly was an aggressive one. I don't think, as I said, he was planning for it to be that aggressive, but made it work, and now he's got the race lead.
I don't do play of the day yet in NEXEN series, but I'm going to vote for that early as our play of the day so far. Great pass.
Yep, no, he done well to get that done. That is for sure. And then now it's Sam Dashfield sitting in behind him. Is he going to be able to make any moves? As Andy Neal sits there, he's getting on the phone to maybe make a couple of calls, see if that was all okay.
Race control, please, race control.
Yeah, please forgive.
This line is engaged presently. Oh no, Stu Lawton, second in the championship, coming into the weekend. One of the key contenders in this year's series has stopped on the road, and he's in the little no man's land area between turn 3 and turn 4, left-hand side for the drivers, in between that and the start-finish straight. So the Lawton car going absolutely nowhere, and it'll be flat-toed back after the race, but that is a big moment early in a championship, I know, but Rex Edwards a long way up the road.
I'm pretty sure that Mac Templeton has a problem. Made a funny sound just down the straight there, and I saw him pull over to the left-hand side of the road. I don't think everything is as he likes it in that car at the moment. Something just sounded slightly off, and you can see that gap is now closed up just a little bit. Whether it was just a gear miss, something definitely sounded off down the straight in the way he pulled to the left there.
This has brought Sam Dashfield right into the battle for the lead as well. So away we go again. Lap 6 of 10, 4 to go here at Taupō in race 1 of NEXEN Tyre Mazda, round 2 of their series. They'll feature throughout the summer as part of NEXEN, and it always produces great racing like this. So does Templeton have an issue? Was it perhaps just a missed gear change on the run down the back straight, and maybe just a little bit of thinking of his fellow competitor getting to the side, if indeed it was?
Yeah, it was something dramatic enough for him to pull to the inside like that. Normally in missed gear, you're so focused on getting that next gear, you don't even think to pull the inside, but something has been out of the ordinary enough for him to go, I've got a proper problem here, I need to get off the race line. So whether it comes back or not, let's see if it happens in the same point, but that'll certainly make things just a little bit harder for him from here.
So the 3 leaders with a good 4.5, 5 second margin over Stown Creel in 4th place, and Jesse Gould still running 5th. Whoa, big moment off the road. Paige Macy back down in 20th position with a big spin. And that's on the exit of turn 5. Entry to turn 6.
Whether or not there was another car involved, it did look like the bumper was half... No, oh, that's what did the bumper. Just got a little bit awkward on the grass, and yeah, got all sorts of sideways from there. Once you get on that grass, you do not slow down quite like you think you would.
It's almost like that inside curb at 5 just unsettled the car and pushed it wide.
Yeah, it's surprising how much it actually did upset the car. It's a reasonably flat curb in there, but it certainly did flip the car a little bit for him. And see Mac Templeton, he's still in front there. Doesn't have that commanding...
Oh, no.
Rex Edwards runs wide there. That gives Sam Dashfield second position. He has made the move into second position. Rex Edwards running just a little bit wide there.
Free pass. Dashfield +1, Edwards minus. With a little moment under brakes for turn 1. It's a big stop, and this is what happened. So it's going around the outside. It probably looks a little bit closer to Templeton from that angle than it did from straight on, but the car just understeered wide. Understeers when you turn the steering wheel and the front wheels don't go where you want them, and the car pushes ahead into the corner. So that was a strange moment in a race that, let's be honest, has had a couple of strange moments like that.
Yeah, it always seems to throw it up, this category. There's always all sorts of different moments that go on the NEXEN Tyre Mazda Championship. It's just always so much fun to watch every time these guys get out here, and that gap has now started opening up with 7 laps complete of this race. 3 to go. Is Mac Templeton, does his dramas come back to bite him again, or was that just a one-timer as the laps keep ticking down?
This is Carl Gaines under pressure from Lance Gerlach, who was in the top 4 in the series coming into the weekend. So the pack and save entry looking to make some further ground. Callum Pratt just in behind in 9th position. So battle for the back half of the top 10. And is there a move coming on the run down here into turn number 12? Defensive line taken all the way down, and you've got to commit at this point to being on the inside and have that shallow turn in. It's going on behind as well. Is that Mark Oakley having a pass for 10th place? He tried. He couldn't get the move done on Callum Pratt. Good fights all the way through the field in the NEXEN Mazda Racing Series. Templeton, your leader, 1.6 seconds now, so he's pulled out quite comfortably over Sam Dashfield. And Rex Edwards, after that strange off at turn 1, we'll go and find out what the drama was there, as he's dropped back to 3rd position, having led this one early.
nearly looked like it was the braking side of things. He just came in there with so much extra speed to the other cars around him that he did end up going wide from that. So whether it was just a missed braking marker, but they all seem to be more or less around the same sort of lap times now. Obviously, apart from Rex Edwards who's going wide, but the difference between Mac Templeton and Sam Dashfield is only a 10th on their last lap. So they are more or less running the same sort of pace now.
This series continues to grow and evolve. 21 cars here this weekend. 20 still running. Stu Lawton out of the race. It's the 34th season for the Mazda Championship in New Zealand. The RX-8 introduced in season 2014-15, and it's grown and grown and grown. And this weekend, it's entirely RX-8s on the grid. There's RX-8 one-make championships in a couple of places in the world. There's a few in Oz. Be cool to see some of those guys come over and play at some point over summer as well. A bit of a trans-Tasman Mazda battle as this fight continues. Carl Gaines under some pressure in 7th place. This is a rinse and repeat of the lap before. Leaders across the line. And they are starting their final lap of the race. 1 to go.
All looks pretty settled between the top 3 now. Same sort of gap between each car, and that lap time of the last lap before Rex Edwards was back to where it should be. So whatever was going on in that turn 1 that time is all okay. And same for Mac Templeton. Those gremlins haven't come back either. As you can see him a little bit sideways. Up over the blind turn 4, down into turn 5. As he now makes his way through the next part of the track.
The big puff of black smoke out the exhaust. They're clearly running these things fairly rich. Put a lot of fuel into a rotary to get the kind of horsepower that you need. Flames from the exhaust as well. Just before the race finishes, wanted to give a shout out to Brian Walker. He's running in 14th place. This is his 2nd ever car race. So doing a terrific job. Apparently made his debut at Timaru a few weeks ago. So learning, and this is a great category to earn your stripes and learn the sport, learn how to drive, learn how to race at a really enjoyable and still very competitive level, as we've seen.
Yeah, and that's a brilliant job for him to be running in 14th position as well on his 2nd ever event. So well done to him when you've got guys at the front of the field which are good enough to be racing in any other top level of championship in New Zealand, being competitive, to be up against them and doing as well as they are is super impressive.
So final few corners, Mac Templeton, gee, had to work for this one. By no way and means was this an easy path to victory in race 1 for the NEXEN Tyre NZ Mazda Racing Series. He had to pass his way to the front, but he did that, and as a result, he gets the checkered flag first. Well done, Mac Templeton, your winner in race 1, ahead of Sam Dashfield and Rex Edwards, who might rue a few little mistakes in that one tonight and debrief for tomorrow. Meanwhile, battles all the way through the field. They're still boxing on. This is the run to the final chicane. Oh, this is going to be fairly hairy. Backs it in down the inside and gets the pass done.
They only both just got it stopped there.
This is 12th and 13th, is it? Elton Wichman and Nigel Edgar. It is, and Elton got the pass. So he finishes 12th, Edgar finishes 13th. And there's Brian Walker, who we just touched on, crosses the line in 14th in his 2nd ever round of NEXEN Mazdas. That's a great debut. Good racing, 21 cars on the grid. Stu Lawton, the big story there, failing to finish, one of our championship favourites, and in the box seat coming into this weekend with some mechanical dramas on his RX-8. He sat on the infield, and that's the worst thing when you get stuck in the infield and you have to watch the rest of the race as well as your rivals are out there enjoying themselves and taking championship points away from you.
Yeah, you're not only gutted that you haven't finished, you're just watching everyone else around you do what you love while you sit there. There is nothing worse than that situation, so a real shame for him.
It's a cruel sport sometimes. Not so for Mac Templeton. He gets the win, just under 2 seconds, the final margin. Samuel Dashfield and Rex Edwards rounding out the podium in race 1 of the NEXEN Tyre Mazda Championship. Down to Callum Pratt in 10th position, 20 seconds off, but that race ran green the whole way through. 10 laps of racing here at Taupō. Stephen Brown just outside the top 10. Paige Macy had a spin, but managed to get to the checkered flag. And the sole DNF in that, Stu Lawton, 2nd in the points coming into the weekend. His closest rival ended up right at the front of the field. Highlights now, race 1 of the NEXEN Mazdas, and took a little while to build. It bubbled away early, Andrew Waite, but it certainly delivered in the end.
Even to the point where I couldn't help but mention it. It did bubble away, and did it what? When we saw the first couple of cars, as one went wide down into turn 11, then made his way back on the circuit with no harm done.
And this was that fight for the lead, and awkward in a way this pass. There was a block, then the door opened slightly, and Templeton just committed regardless and invented a new apex up at turn 11 and made it work for him, and they drag race down the back straight. But ultimately that's where he got the pass for the race lead. That was Alexander Canty off the road, unseen by us. And then this one from Paige Macy, who had that spin, just caught the curb, we think, on the inside at turn 5, and it pushed the car wide and off the road.
And Rex Edwards running a little bit wide into turn 1, just made it to the grass. That gave Sam Dashfield the run up the inside to allow him to finish in second place. But there was no stopping Mac Templeton as the laps ran down. He received the checkered flag to take the race win.
Great drive, well done. The NEXEN Mazdas, their first race on the Next Gen New Zealand Championship. They've got a couple more to come as part of our coverage here on Stuff Speed Hub over the course of the weekend. Start them young these days, don't they, young Mac Templeton? That's the scene, overlooking towards the airfield here at Taupō. Beautiful part of the world. Lovely down by the lake last night.
Yeah, it's a beautiful